our companies are in both of these countries now, especially since we've been getting along so well. It's probably the way we were brought together, and we have a lot of our big companies are there, between rare earth and all of the other things that they do in Africa, which is very greatly expanded.
Hello, hello. Surprise, surprise. How are ya? Hey there. Hi, how are ya? Whoa there. Hey there. Whoa there. Hey there. Finally. Setting up the stuff, setting up the poll. Oh, thank you for the $1, Tony. Have you liked and subscribed yet? Yes or no? I am but a fool. Those are your choices. Those are your choices. Yeah, we're going to be covering a lot. We got to cover the Supreme Court. We got to cover right now. Literally right now, Trump is signing shit.
Finally setting the terms for peace and prosperity in this region, hopefully for a very long time.
He's meeting with like foreign ministers of the DR, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Rwanda. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Look at my signature. That's a beautiful signature. I sign so good. I'm the best signer.
This is over. They're going to put. We have a fast-moving photographer, Dan. He's going to put a nice picture of us here. Okay. Thank you. That's for you.
And this is a letter to President Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo, again congratulating him on settling this long-running war and inviting him to Washington, D.C. for the final conclusion of the
Cat, I got to send you some money for making that Constitusi. That Constitusi. Spam some Constitusis. W Cat for making the Constitusi.
That's right.
The Constitusi of 1776.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So I'd like to ask
Zoran will never be
JD
corrupted.
to say a few words, our great Vice President, and then Marco. And go ahead.
Great. Well, first, let me welcome the foreign ministers of Rwanda and Congo. It's great to have you in the Oval Office. And second, let me say congratulations to the President, to Secretary Rubio, and the entire team. I think for the people of these
Marco
two countries,
Rubio
they
hates
should
his
know that the
fucking
United
life.
States
I
is
swear to
committed
God, you can see it on his fucking face.
But to my fellow Americans, this is really a celebratory moment. This is a big moment for our country because under the President's leadership, we've taken what was 30 years of killing and war, the worst war in terms of death count since World War II, and now we're on a pathway to peace. And so if I think about what I know about these two countries, for 30 years, pretty much the entire time that I can remember these two countries being in the news, much of the story has been about them fighting one another, about them killing one another. And now we can look forward to a future where my children will look at this moment as the beginning of a new story, a story of prosperity and of peace. So thanks to the President, congratulations to the entire team, and to my fellow Americans. We should all be really proud because it's amazing.
What's being covered right now? They're talking about Trump. He's meeting with the leaders of the Congo and Rwanda to like end their like 1,000-year-long war.
Ask the two principals to speak.
How's the audio, by the way? Do I sound okay?
Thank you. When I first came on
good?
this job a few months ago, you made it very clear that the priority of this administration under your leadership was going to be the pursuit of peace. And from day one, whether it's been in Ukraine and Russia, whether it's been Pakistan, India, whether it's been Iran and Israel, and in the continent of Africa, your priority's been on peace. And today we see this come to fruition. It's sad. Wars get a lot more attention than peace. But peace is harder than war. A lot of
Peace don't make for good news, Marco.
respective presidents for choosing the harder path, which is often peace, than the easier path, which sometimes is war, as costly and as bloody as it may be. And I echo the Vice President's statements, and that is that Americans should be very proud that the #1 voice for peace in the world today is our president, your president. And so thank you, President Trump. And I want to, again, recognize Dr. Rules and the work he's put into this from day one. He's really put a lot of time and effort, and as our friends from the respective countries can share with us. And last point, I do want to thank you.
Don't be sad, Sophia. You look dumb when you cry.
But the African Union, Togo, and Qatar, who have been extraordinary partners and whose help we're going to need to continue to receive in order to bring all this to fruition. So congratulations to both of you, and thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Great job you've done. Do you want to start? Either
Dude,
way.
look at JD. He's so silly. He's so silly.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
it sucks
for
that he's a
having us
fucking
here.
fascist piece of
I think I
shit.
can summarize my contribution in 3 main points. First of all, thank you and congratulations indeed for this remarkable milestone, which is putting an end to 30 years of conflict and of suffering, and which is redefining the perspectives that millions of Congolese and of citizens of the greater Great Lakes region will have. The second point is stay committed, stay on board. We need the United States to make sure that this agreement holds and that you hold us accountable.
Zoran's got a bunch of policy positions. He's trying to freeze stable rent in New York. He's trying to increase the minimum wage to $30. He's trying to make the buses free. And also he's trying to create this new force, what is it called? Like this, rather than the police spending all of their time in the subways, dealing with homeless people who really need mental health professionals and not cops, the police can spend their time above ground if we have this force of specialized people who know how to deal with mental health crises, and they can deal with every single problem on the subways. Oh, he also wants to create a bunch of public-owned grocery stores that are non-profit.
Sometime in July, we'll do something, a big ceremony.
We look forward to it.
Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is indeed a historical day because it's the signing of a peace agreement between Congo and Rwanda to end a conflict that has been going on for 30 years. And there has been many mediation, facilitation in the past, but none of them succeeded. And we believe that it's because of your leadership and your steadfast commitment to this process, with also a new approach of economic integration, regional economic integration, which is important to allow Rwanda and DRC working together, because this is a very rich region with cross-border trade, with the minerals, with natural wealth. So with the U.S. Standing side by side with Rwanda and DRC, we believe that we will achieve a long-time peace. And we also believe that, as my colleague from DRC...
I'm guessing with that TikTok you put out, you saw the thirst trap that Fox put out about Trump. Yeah, did you guys see it? I can't even play it because I'll get fucking copyrighted. Should I just play it anyway?
Democrats are admitting this may be Donald Trump's best week as president. NATO is calling him daddy. The ceasefire's holding, Iran's nuclear program's obliterated, and the stock market's about to hit an all-time high. Today at the Pentagon, Pistol Pete spoke.
Yeah, it's a crazy fucking video. What is it on the White House's official where do they post it? White House Twitter or something? Oh, this is it. All right. I'm getting copyrighted, but, you know, this is what it takes to report the news. So before we play it, hi, how are you? I'm Chris Valenti. This is Real Independent Media. I ain't got no funding, so if you want to help counteract me about to get copyrighted, donate, buy merch, do everything. Do everything you got to do. Become a member, become a patron. Here we go.
You know your dad is home. You ain't got to give my love away. they say, hey, 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 daddy, hey, so what's up?
Again, this is the official White House's Twitter. Like, this is officially, this is the White House. The White House. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Go ahead, give my mic.
Hello.
Deborah Haynes from Sky News.
Good.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who
Mark.
is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies
Look at Marco.
as kind of children?
No, he likes
Wait,
me. I think he likes
Look
me.
at Marco, bro.
NATO chief, who
Mark.
is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No?
But do you
He did.
regard-
He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your
Oh,
NATO
God.
allies, though, as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that, but do you hope that actually they're going to be able to defend themselves, defend Europe on their own without
I think
the
they need
United
help a little
States?
bit at the beginning, and I
But
think
in
they'll
the-
be
in the
able
end-
to. And I think they're going to remember this day. And this is a big day for NATO. You know, this was a very big day. They took it. One of the gentlemen said, you know what? We've been trying to raise money raise the rate for 30 years, he said, 20 years, from almost the beginning. And he's been there for a long time. He said, until you came along, it never happened. What you did is amazing. It's been sort of an amazing day
But do you
for a lot of reasons, but also for that. Yeah, go
Do you
ahead.
think they can do it without you, though, in the future? Can they do it without
Well,
the
ask
United
Mark.
States?
I mean, you have to ask Mark. Okay.
So fucking weird. So fucking weird, dude. I'm pretty sure Zoran had a really good interview today. Can you explain why they do this? A lot of these Republicans, and I don't know about NATO, but a lot of these people have homoerotic relationships that are deeply buried behind their like Christian beliefs, and I don't know, Trump. They also have terrible relationships with their fathers, and Trump kind of like embodies that like energy that they've been looking for. It's fucking weird, dog.
Out front now, New York State Assemblyman and presumptive Democratic nominee for mayor.
Look at our cutie Bo Booty. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. All right, hold on. Let me record real quick. What's up, guys? Hi, how are you? Zoran did a great interview on CNN. He's been making the rounds, doing incredible interviews. But in this one, I think it's really important because he really talks about democratic socialism and what socialism is. Socialism, boo! Which is also a Zoran thing. That's what he said a long time ago. Like in the beginning of running, he goes, not Zoran. He goes, socialism, ah! And, a lot of people have this weird misunderstanding of what socialism is because of the first and second Red Scare and now the third fucking Red Scare. And, Trump and the Republicans, they're always throwing around words like Marxist, Leninist, communist, radical leftist. They don't know what any of those things mean, which makes it even fucking funnier. But we're going to just listen to it coming out of Zoran's mouth. I mean, Zoran is the nominee for the Democratic Party for the mayoral race in New York City. He is a self-proclaimed socialist. It's not like he's been labeled as it. He is a socialist. And I am a socialist if you're new here. But, yeah, let's just dive into it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. Also, remember, this is real independent media. I have no funding, so if you do want to support the channel financially, feel free to become a member, become a patron, buy merch, donate to the channel, and use that discount code for Ground News located in the description below. All of that goes a long way. Thank you for 72,000 subs. And without further ado, let's listen to Zoran Mamdani.
Out front now, New York State Assemblyman and presumptive Democratic nominee for mayor of New York, Zoran Mamdani. And so much appreciate your time. A whirlwind week for you. I think to put it lightly. Okay, so everyone else is putting their view on this, of what this means. Okay, your victory. What do you think it means?
I think it means that we are ready in the most expensive city in the United States to have 5 boroughs that New Yorkers can actually afford. And this entire race.
5 boroughs, 5 pillars of Islam. Coincidence? I don't think so. Mashallah, my brother. We will reinstate the Islamic Caliphate of New York City. Alhamdulillah. In a matter of weeks, we will be having everyone in burqas running for their lives to New Jersey. That is a joke. Unironically, though, a lot of the Republicans have been posting insane things. They genuinely think that there's going to be morning prayer blasted from the Empire State Building. Like, it's fucking insane.
Was about the question of affordability. And ultimately, I have run a campaign that speaks about the tools that city government actually has to deliver that affordability in the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the world. And it's time that we have a mayoral administration that follows through and actually delivers that.
All right, so I want to talk about some of that, but first the breaking news. Isaac DeVere is reporting that Andrew Cuomo is not dropping out of the general election race, right? And it's kind of willery-woney, but the deadline...
That's the thing, man. Andrew Cuomo is probably going to run regardless. He's going to run as like a fucking independent. Also, I want to point out something before we keep on watching this interview. Has anybody seen Andy Ogles' tweet about Zoran? Andy Ogles' Zoran tweet, Little Muhammad. He called him Little Muhammad, bro. It's insane. Look at this. There's a bunch of them. He keeps on calling him, but Andy Ogles, if you recognize that name, is the same fucking guy that proposed a amendment to let Trump run a 3rd term. Zoran, quote, Little Muhammad Mamdani just dropped this rap a year before becoming a U.S. citizen. And it says he loves 5 men who were convicted of funneling 12. Dude, this guy's fucking, he's absolutely nuts. Andy Ogles, Little Muhammad. He also, look at this. Zoran Little Muhammad Mamdani is an anti-Semitic socialist communist who will destroy the great city of New York. He needs to be deported, which is why I'm calling for him to be subject to denaturalization proceedings. Attaches my letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi. And the thing is, they're genuinely going for it. And the reason why they can is the Anti-Communist Act of 1954, or is it 51? Yeah, 54. Communist Control Act of 1954. It's an American law signed by President Dwight Eisenhower that outlawed the Communist Party USA and criminalized memberships in and or support for the Communist Action Organization. Now, here's the thing. They are going to run with the whole all socialists are communists. There's a reason why we've been hearing that propaganda in our chat for so long. Like I say, I'm a socialist. They go, that's communist. That is what the American State Department wants you to believe. That way they can start deporting and getting rid of anybody who labels himself as a socialist. Now, here's the thing. I'm actually a registered card-carrying member of the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. It's a list that you can access. So this is incredibly horrifying times.
Tomorrow. Is this a surprise to you?
Ultimately, Andrew's decision or my decision matters less than the decision that voters already took on Tuesday night, where we won from Bay Ridge to Dyker Heights to Harlem to Washington Heights. We saw a mandate delivered for a new generation of leadership. And I am so proud and excited to continue to build on that mandate with an ever-expanding coalition, one that has now included the endorsements of Congressman Jerry Nadler, of State Senator Brad Hoylman Siegel, and Manhattan Borough President, soon-to-be Controller, Mark Levine. And ultimately, that is a coalition that will continue to expand through November.
Right, so you're saying no matter what, I mean, if Andrew Cuomo's in, it's not like a redo where you're worried?
No, not at all.
Andrew Cuomo will be like, I am white, I am black, I am gay, I am lesbian, I am Muslim, I am Jewish, I am Andrew Cuomo.
We did it once, and it turned out pretty well.
All right, so now can we talk about the policy? The policy is what stood out to a lot of people. But right, I said the freezing rents on half of the apartments, free bus service, the free childcare, and the city-run grocery stores. How do you pay for that?
Let's go
real quick. He's nicer than me. He goes, let's go through it. I love him. He's nicer than me. But I want to point something out. Why is it that when we're talking, every fucking time somebody talks about making, I don't know, affordable childcare or increasing the minimum wage or affordable housing, every time somebody brings that shit up, no matter what platform they're on, they go, how are you going to pay for that? How are you going to pay for that? Meanwhile, Trump says, we're launching 18 B-2 bombers and 24 Tomahawk missiles from a nuclear submarine. We're blowing up Iran. No mention. No question. How are you going to pay for it? They never ask. They never ask. Oh, jeez.
People, but right, I said the freezing rents on half of the apartments, free bus service, the free childcare, and the city-run grocery stores. How do you pay for that?
Let's go through it. So for the first thing, freezing the rent, that's not something that requires any fiscal output from the city. It's something that's determined by the Rent Guidelines Board, composed of 9 members. The mayor picks each of those members. They determine each year whether rents rise or whether they stay the same. The previous mayoral administration froze the rent 3 times, so this has clear historical precedent. When it comes to city-run grocery...
Even Adams, you're saying Adams.
No, this is prior
to
Adams. He's the current one who has raised it 9% on those same New Yorkers, pushing them out of their homes. City-run grocery stores, I proposed a pilot program of 1 store in each borough. These are 5 stores in total. The total cost of this is $60 million. This is less than half the cost of what the city is already set to spend on a subsidy program for corporate supermarkets that has no guarantee of cheaper prices or collective bargaining agreements or even accepting SNAP or WIC.
So you're not looking at some like Soviet Union grocery stores on every...
What? What sort of fucking question even is that, bro? What sort of question even is that? What are we talking about?
Corner that are going to be run by the government.
No, what I'm looking at is how to solve the very clear twin crises of affordability when you go to the grocery store and food deserts, which disproportionately impact Black and brown New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, where I've heard directly from New Yorkers who say, why is it that I can find 6 fast food restaurants in a 5-block radius, but I can't find a place to buy groceries?
But I know why. It's because this fucking government wants our Black and brown population. They want the low-income population. They want the poverty-stricken people to be unhealthy. That's why you can always get McDonald's and KFC and Wendy's, but it's not really easy to go get some healthy groceries, right? Because if you're unhealthy, then you are sick. If you are sick, you are a slave to Big Pharma. It's a never-ending fucking loop, bro. I swear to God, it's so deep. It goes so deep, it'll make you question reality.
5 boroughs, 5 grocery stores, but that can't be the goal.
Well, I mean, the idea
is the goal you want them on every? No. But in New York, things do go. There's a nail salon on every corner. There's a grocery store on almost every other corner.
I think ultimately I'm guided by outcomes. If this pilot succeeds in guaranteeing cheaper groceries, as I think it will be, then yes, it should scale up. If it doesn't succeed, then no, it shouldn't, because what New Yorkers want are results. And then it comes to making buses free and universal childcare. Right. These are things that cost around $700 million and let's say about $5 or $6 billion. Significant amounts of money.
Huge amounts of money.
But have to be understood in the context of a $113 billion municipal budget, a $252 billion state budget, and we put forward a plan to pay for these and more to start Trump-proofing our city through 2 major revenue streams. Increasing the top corporate tax rate of New York to match that of New Jersey, that raises $5 billion, and increasing income taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers who make $1 million or more a year by 2%. Both of these things, after they come to fruition,
he's nicer than I. You hear what he said? You hear what these fucking people are bitching and moaning about? Increasing the taxes on the 1% by 2%. The people who make $1 million a year or more, we're talking about increasing their taxes by 2%. And these motherfuckers are threatening to flee the city. They're posting AI-generated pictures of fucking like a Muslim Iranian takeover. They're losing their shit over a 2% increase for the 1%. Who gives a fuck?
Still paying less than you did before Trump.
Okay, on the city tax though, and I know that takes effect with people right now, that top rate of people of 50,000 or more. So if you're going to be adding 2% to people at $1 million, that I just did the math, right? Well, but that's going to be an increase of 51% of what they pay now. I'm not saying cry for them.
What?
I'm saying if they leave, you're not going to get that money. And when you increase someone's taxes by 51%, aren't a lot of people going to leave?
We're saying we're increasing it by 2% of what it is right now.
No, they're not going to leave. New York City is the most important city on planet Earth. New York City is the hub of humanity. No, they're not gonna fucking leave, you dumb fuck.
Ultimately, I'm guided by the facts. The Fiscal Policy Institute did an analysis of the top 1% of New Yorkers and found that they leave the city at 1/4 the rate of other income categories. And when they do leave, they leave to what are called high tax states, New Jersey, California. So what it then comes down to is, why are they leaving? Is it fiscal policy or is it actually quality of life? And I've heard that time and again from wealthier New Yorkers, from all New Yorkers.
So it's talk. They're going to go to Florida and all you think is talk.
In 2021, when I came to the State Assembly, we had the same fight to fund public schools, to raise taxes on billionaires and corporations. We were told millionaires would flee.
Yep.
And we now have more millionaires.
Okay, so the New York Times is saying
you
that
see
Mayor
what you just
Adams-
said? Look, this guy with the Chinese lettering, he said 2% out of $1 million is $20,000. That's fucking jack shit nothing to these people. It would literally cost you more to pack your shit and move than it would to fucking take the $20,000 fucking hit. What are we talking about? That's a woman, same shit, different fucking gender.
This is trying to gather business leaders to support him, to say this is going to be bad. And Bill Ackman, billionaire hedge fund manager, of course you know of him, New Yorker, he said he agrees with you that the city's broken, okay, but he has a real problem with your economic policies. He said the ability for New York City to offer services for the poor and needy, let alone the average New Yorker, is entirely dependent on New York City being a business-friendly environment and a place where wealthy residents are willing to spend 183 days, the amount you need to be taxed, and assume the associated tax burden. Unfortunately, both have already started making arrangements for the exits. So you just think that that isn't going to add up. And by the way, that corporate tax rate that you're talking about, that's a big increase.
That's matching 7.25% going to 11.5%. And the point of it is that if it works for our regional neighbor, why can't it work for us? And with Bill Ackman, this is someone who put $500,000 into Andrew Cuomo's super PAC, someone to whom clearly money is not an issue. And ultimately, even for him, life would get better. Because when I'm looking to use this money...
And I don't know, maybe I'm alone on this, but I don't give a fuck about any billionaire's opinion when it comes to making any city better. You know, like, your opinion is completely invalid. You are disconnected from reality. You are not one of us. They not like us. They not like us. Brother, your take is probably dog shit.
Money for is to make the quality of life across the city better.
Okay, so when people say democratic socialist, right, and I'm curious what you think this means. I mean, do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism. And I think ultimately the
period. Oh my God, I can't believe he fucking said it. I can't believe he fucking said it. Can you believe he said no? That is my hero. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. That is my fucking king. That is my son. That is my father. I love this man.
Definition for me of why I call myself a democratic socialist is the words of Dr. King decades ago. He said, call it democracy or call it democratic socialism. There must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. And that's what I'm focused on, is dignity and taking on income inequality.
Don't you mean Allah? My brother? I'm kidding.
And for too long,
fuck, dude, when I meet him, he's going to be tight. He's going to be like, bro, you got to tone it down a little bit.
Politicians have pretended that we're spectators to that crisis of affordability. We're actually actors, and we have the choice to exacerbate it, like Mayor Adams has done, or to respond to it and resolve it, like I'm planning to do.
Okay. So, you know, for people who say that America was built on, and a lot of immigrants, and obviously you speak from an immigrant experience. I mean, you came as a young child, but you speak to a lot of people who came much more recently, that they come to America because they believe in capitalism. They believe that if they work hard and make a lot of money, that that's part of the American dream. Do you think that's not part of the American dream?
Please bring up meritocracy and talk about how meritocracy is not real. The harder you work, you will not make more money. It is not about working hard. It is about being lucky and taking advantage of people.
Dream at its core is a dream for stability in one's life. And what you're saying, that you work hard enough and that you then reap the benefits, too many New Yorkers, and Americans for that matter, are working 8 hours and then still feeling like they haven't made enough money to keep living in the city they call home. And ultimately, what I'm focused on is making the city affordable for everyone, not to win an ideological argument, but to deliver on the mandate of this campaign.
So when Mayor Adams, you just heard him come out and he said, soup, silver spoon. He talked about manicured nails to refer to you, right? I was looking at him. You can show him to everybody.
Right, dude, imagine saying that he's been fed soup with a silver spoon when he grew up in fucking Uganda. Eric. He grew up in Uganda.
What do you say to him?
You know, I understand what he's doing. He's trying to distract from his own record. His is a record where he raised rents on more than 2 million New Yorkers by 9%, and he's considering another 8% increase. His is a record of raising the water bill to the highest it's been in 13 years, supporting Con Edison when they wanted to increase New Yorkers' gas and electric bills by $65 a month. I would much rather talk about me than I would about his record if I was him. And so that's what he's going to be doing over the next few months.
Absolutely.
And we will continue to remind New Yorkers what's on the ballot. It's affordability.
All right, Assemblyman, please stay with me. Our conversation with Zoran Mamdani continues right after this. Back with Zoran Mamdani, who is poised to win the Democratic primary for New York City over Andrew Cuomo.
He's so
City Mayor.
cute.
Before we continue the conversation, I just want to play, because that's what this is, play more of Mamdani telling his story.
So to quote the words of a famous New Yorker, allow me to reintroduce myself. I was born in Kampala, Uganda, in East Africa. I was given my middle name Kwame by my father, who named me after the first prime minister of Ghana.
I moved to this city when I was 7. This is the city I fell in love with, the city where I got my citizenship.
He's been in the New York Assembly for 4 years, and before that, he was an aspiring rapper under the name Mr. Cardamom.
No shot.
Listen.
No shot. Bro, no.
Once you do it,
shot. That's my mayor.
but it's out there. It never comes back. It's there.
Didn't think it was going to be on CNN.
It's there, and there it is. So what do you...
Wait, have you guys not heard Nani? Have you guys not heard his song? Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. Hold on. It's so fucking dumb good.
I'm going to make you a countryside chicken curry. My name is Praveen. No. Hello, everyone. £1.5 of chicken. Stir and fry it again.
Mom? You're living in our house now, Mom. We're not living in yours. Why do I have to keep telling you this? And then on Wednesday, you forget to pick up Nikhil from school. All of your meddling and these questions and the TV series cause you to lose sight of the fact that you are not a good nanny.
I'm the best damn nanny that you ever done seen. Fuck top 5 nannies and fuck top 3. I'm the #1 nanny, don't fuck with me. Fuck any of the nannies, says they better than Praveen. Cause I'm 85 years old, 85 years old, 85 years with my family on my back, so I'll outlast everybody on my fucking haters. Don't know me now, then you never know me later. Say, I be in an elevator to the top, go and find your own way there. Drinking a little water ball for me by my way there. Not just anyone, but the hair fucking major.
Mr. Mayor.
At the top, where I base. Got a great grandkid, man, fucking ace. Wrapped in a shawl just in case I cool breeze, but you never catch me, better just catch Ace.
I did see that missing space. Thank you for the 5. And thank you for the 2 for the other person. There's some nannies in the chat.
This the nanny anthem, Jimmy another band time. Weight class, whoop ass, and hold you for ransom. Got a grandson that's handsome and then some. Spends his income on dim sum to fill time. You talking retention. Me, I'm talking expansion. Got the whole squad here, keep them at attention. And I'm not in the business of taking no tension. So, gather round now, celebrate me. I'm your boss, I'm your fucking nanny. Got a doctorate, bitch, so don't fucking try me. Don't need a nano, cause I'm living my G. Kitty, my G. Run this whole city like a Ramiyati. Stay setting people up, MC of the shawty. If you see me in the streets, don't be asking Guani. Bow down for you. Hit the ground for you. Make a sign for you. Give a crown to you. Bow down for you. Hit
your natty. It's a rap. Get the guap, spin the rack on your natty. Spin the rack. Come through, give a dab to your natty. If you really feeling good, spin a track for your natty.
Fuck yes.
Make a rap for your natty. It's a rap. Get the guap, spin the rack on your natty. Spin the rack. Come through, give a dab to your natty. If you really feeling good, spin a track for your natty.
You know what's hilarious about this? Do you understand the level of fear this video would instill in the average Southern white lady? And look, this part is the most important part. If you're ever wondering why Zoran won, it's because he's relatable to New Yorkers. Every single New Yorker, no matter what fucking wealth class they're a part of, no matter what culture, no matter what nationality, we have all been piss fucking drunk and gotten a plate of halal. We've all gotten a fucking gyro. We've all gotten a fucking lamb with rice. This is New York. This is the most New York shit you've ever seen in your fucking life.
Say to people who look at your background and they wonder, they say, okay, rising star you may be, but this is the largest city in America, $112 billion budget, 8 million people, and a hell of a lot of problems.
Later, Jack.
And they say, okay, whatever the future may be, you're not ready now.
I would say that a campaign offers a glimpse of what an administration would look like. And we built a campaign the likes of which the city has not seen in a long time.
I've
We
been to
started
Italy,
with
yes.
2 full-time employees and now are managing 50,000 volunteers. At the beginning of this race, there were questions of whether we'd get 50,000 votes. And yet we had 50,000
volunteers.
50,000 volunteers who knocked on 1.5 million doors, made 2.1 million phone calls. And ultimately, it's a story of not only being able to inspire people, but absorb that inspiration and build an organization. And I think that's also the story of what it means to run a city, that you are ultimately responsible, but you're also determined by hiring the best and the brightest. And
Canada trade deal terminated? Fuck you hearing that?
that's what I will be doing in City Hall. I'll be hiring those that have a clear track record of excellence, of results, that come from a wide variety of mayoral administrations, and finally bring public excellence back into the public sector.
All right, so you caught a lot of attention.
All right, so wait, somebody, we got multiple people saying Trump ended the trade deal with Canada. Where, let's see, Trump ends trade deal with Canada. Cease negotiations and impose new tariffs because of Canada's imminent new digital services tax. King Doland on Friday said the United States would terminate all trade discussions with Canada. That's so fucking stupid. Aren't you recording? I am. That is so fucking stupid. Wait, what did he say on Truth? Trump Truth. No, you can't, Danny. Let's see. We have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, including the fact that they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products, has just announced that they are putting a digital services tax on our American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. They are obviously copying the European Union, which has done the same thing and is currently under discussion with us. Also, based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions of trade with Canada, effective immediately. We will let Canada know the tariff that they will be paying to the business of the United States of America within the next 7-day period. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Meanwhile, and then here's a great, we always get a stupid fucking meme that was made in like clip art. We always get another one. All right, so yeah, dumbass fucking idiot does a dumbass fucking thing. In other breaking news, fork found in the kitchen.
Attention for confronting Tom Homan, Trump's border czar, about the deportation policies, which have a lot of impact here in New York. Here you are.
Dude, why aren't they showing the fucking video? I'll show you the fucking video of Zoran v. Tom Homan. It's fucking gas. You guys know Tom Homan, the thumb, the guy who leads ICE, Like the giant fucking Nazi? Zoran confronts Tom Homan.
How many more New Yorkers? How many more New Yorkers will you detain? How many more New Yorkers without charge? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan?
When we asked Tom Homan, all he had to answer for that cruelty was a smirk. Because there is no answer for taking a man from his pregnant wife who is due to deliver.
So yeah, he goes brazy. He goes brazy. Also, yeah, we are going to cover the fact that Trump is like dead ass terminating birthright citizenship. Supreme Court rules against birthright citizenship. They limit nationwide injunctions. So, by the way, by limiting nationwide injunctions, this is another necessary step that Trump needs to take in order to become the king. If you can prevent all federal judges from putting sanctions or taxes or just any sort of injunction, then that means Trump can violate federal court orders, and there is literally nothing that we can do to stop him. So, listen, I know they're like, I've been saying it for a while, and it ends up being repeated to the point where it sounds facetious, but Donald Trump is a king. Donald Trump is no longer a president. Donald Trump is a king. He disobeys Supreme Court orders, so you know what they do? Well, they hit him with an injunction. Well, now the Supreme Court limits nationwide injunctions. No more injunctions. We've impeached him twice. Doesn't do nothing. You can't get him out. If you can't get him out, he's not a president. He's a king. If you can't remove a man from office, then he's a king. He's a king. We've got a king. Bro, he's like fucking Bowser. Not that ass. He's like King Koopa. It's unreal.
Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan?
So that moment went viral, all right? Then after the primary, Homan was asked about your plan, which is on your website. You said that you would end the city's cooperation with ICE agents that has been going on under Mayor Adams. And he has...
So what do you do about it? You radicalize, and you radicalize as many people as you possibly can. I'm a fucking radical. I'm radical as fuck. And this is what I do. I spread my message. I consider this a goddamn megaphone, okay? That's what I do. I'm spreading my message, and I'm trying to radicalize the youth. I'm trying to get as many goddamn people to adopt socialism as possible. You want fucking change in this nation? We gotta stop doing the same shit over and over. Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Republican, Democrat, Republican. Like, the pendulum must swing. Fuck you. Break the clock. Fuck you. Elect a socialist. Fuck that.
Spoken out. Here's what he said.
Good luck with that. Federal law trumps him every day, every hour of every minute. We're going to be in New York City. Game on. We're coming.
Game on. He's coming. What do you say?
That I'm going to be here to stand up and fight back. And unlike the current mayor, I'm not going to be working alongside the Trump administration to build the single largest deportation force in American history. I'm going to actually represent each and every New Yorker. And that includes immigrant New Yorkers. And that means standing up for the laws of this city, like our sanctuary city policies, which have kept New Yorkers safe for decades and were defended by Republicans and Democrats alike for years until we got this mayor who fear-mongered about them so extensively.
Does that involve the NYPD?
It means that the NYPD would actually serve New Yorkers and not assist ICE in their operations. We recently saw ICE agents.
So they would not assist ICE?
Not assisting ICE, because ultimately
fuck
their
ICE.
job
You
is
know what
public
else
safety.
he should do, and he may do, but he can't say it yet. If he's mayor, you know what he can do? He could terminate all contracts with ICE. All New York City contracts with ICE, which would make ICE, when they come in, invaders. Then he could deploy the National Guard against ICE. I'd love to see those fucking overweight Proud Boys in masks try to fucking stand up to the Empire City Police. You think the fucking LA National Guard are bad, bro? The Empire City Police are fucking psychos with ARs. I love them.
And I know officers who are signing up to take on serious crimes, not to be a part of the force that is arresting a pastor who's peacefully observing the arrest of a migrant at Federal Plaza.
All right, so
that fucking video he's talking about, the pastor, oh my God, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It is absolutely horrendous. It's horrendous. I'll show you. It's actually hard to watch. Trigger warning, Nazis, and it is very difficult to watch, but here it is.
Why you're taking him?
This is a pastor filming, okay? They
Why you're taking him?
They detained hundreds of Iranians they didn't commit any crimes, but This is going to be very difficult to watch. Fair warning, trigger warning, Nazis.
Yeah.
Stay back for a few feet. You can record. Stay back a couple feet.
No, I want to know. I'm his pastor.
He has no warrants, sir. All right.
For what?
He's being arrested for immigration.
He's asylum
He's
seeker.
being arrested for immigration. Sounds about right.
He's following orders. He's got a warrant.
He came with CP1. Why you're doing this?
It's no longer valid anymore. That's why. Hey,
Why? What?
please.
Can I have his stuff?
No, yeah, phone. Yeah. No, he can't have it. Yeah, only my phone.
Where you're taking? Can I follow you?
No, only. Where's the phone? What are you taking?
What?
Hold on, give me just a second. Just a little.
Why you're taking him?
Nah,
Boro Eshkana, Boro tu. Why are you doing this? 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 Why are you doing this?
You want to be arrested as well? You'll be under arrested.
Yeah, I'm U.S. citizen. Arrest me.
Don't get closer. Stay there. Stay there.
You want to know why I know these are Proud Boys and Nazis? Look at their shoes.
Yeah, I'm U.S. citizen.
Look at their shoes. Look at their shoes. These are not federal agents.
Arrest me.
Don't get closer. Stay there. Stay there. Stay back.
Let him go.
Stay there. Stay back.
She's bad.
Stay there.
Let her go.
Stay there.
Let her go.
You don't stay there, you're gonna be arrested for
She's
interference.
sick. She's sick.
You're gonna be arrested for interference.
She's sick. I'm here. She's sick.
Okay, stay there.
She's bad. Call 911. Call 911. She's bad. She has a problem. My God, you're... Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? They came from persecution. From dictatorship. I'm from Iran. I'm from Iran. You're so cruel. So cruel. Have you read the news? Have you read the news? I was in prison for my faith. They're there in Iran. They're from Iran. You know, we fled because of our faith. Can you take me with them? They need me.
No, sir.
They need me.
You can stay there and you can record, but you can't go with us, okay?
مرجان اوکی میشه. اوکی میشه مرجان جان. I know you're doing your job. I know you're doing your job, but my heart is just... Seriously, you all guys came for one person?
What is her name?
Marjan. Seriously. Only 2 people is enough. What this? Like, what's this? It's the army here.
Security, sir.
It's the army. Like 2 people. Have you read the news? What's happening in Iran? For women?
The fact that they're not
They
calling
came
a
here for
goddamn
freedom,
ambulance for
not
this
like-
woman is making me feel so fucking disgusted, bro.
This. Shame on you. I know you're doing your job, but shame on you. Shame of this government.
Of course I'm reading what you're saying, brother. Your messages are all I can fucking see.
About how you didn't know if you'd get 50,000 votes and you ended up with 50,000 volunteers. They knocked on doors. There are many in the country who might look at that and say, okay, that makes me think of somebody else. Somebody else who took on I'm trying to think of the right word to use, but somebody who expected to win and therefore didn't campaign that hard and lost. And the person who did that was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, right? Famously also here in New York. She endorsed you early. She helped you. She just spoke to Manu Raju, our Manu Raju, a few moments ago. She said the Democratic Party needs to pay attention to your success right now. Here's what she just told him.
We have a choice to listen to that message that people are sending us or not. This isn't just about Mr. Mamdani as an individual. This is about the message that the people of New York City are trying to send to our party.
And that message from New York, hi, how are you, is fuck the establishment. I don't want more of the same. I don't want Kamala Harris. I don't want Tim Walz. I don't want Chuck Schumer. I don't want Nancy Pelosi. I don't want Hakeem Jeffries. You know who I want? Zoran motherfucking Mamdani. Mamdani. You better learn to say it, bitch. I want AOC. I want Bernie. I want Xi Jinping. 我们一起走历史长城。哭着来，糟糕老主哟。I'm sorry about that. Let's finish up this interview.
So there's now talk, that your victory puts her in a whole new light, right? It puts her and Bernie Sanders, not that they were seen as fringe, but they were seen as a wing of the party. And that instead of being a wing, that becomes more of the center, and that you are part of that. Do you see it that way? And do you see those who say, look, your victory propels her to a presidential run in 2028?
She's been an inspiration, and it's been an honor to be represented by her as an assembly member in Astoria for many years. And I think about a senior who works at a child care center that I met in Sunnyside, Queens, who told me that I'm not a progressive, but I realized when I looked at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders, they were the only ones who were willing to fight for me. Yeah. And that's what so many New Yorkers and Americans understand, is that these are the two individuals who have been willing to take on this oligarchy and actually stand up for dignity.
That's the thing. Everybody's a socialist until they find out they're a socialist. Do you see what I'm saying? Everybody is a socialist until they find out that what they're advocating for is socialism. And then the brainworm that has been seeping into you through American propaganda from the time you were a fucking 5-year-old boy, and they said, stand up and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance, brother! Then it seeps in, you go, wait a minute, socialism bad, socialism, communism, Stalin, Stalin, China, Mao, communism, don't like China, don't like Russia, don't like Cuba. Like, what are we doing?
For Americans.
Before you go, one last thing. Bill Ackman, I just mentioned him as right, he's the billionaire hedge fund manager, but he's not alone. There are a lot like him, whether it's Ken Griffin or CEOs of big banks. Would you meet with them?
I'll meet with anyone. I will meet with them, and I'll explain why I believe in the necessity of raising the top corporate tax rate. And I'd also tell Bill Ackman that I firmly disagree with his attempt to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion across the country, because it's not only against the morals of so many, it's also against the actual bottom line for so many businesses. And as a businessman, he should understand that.
All right. Well, Assemblyman, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
That's my fucking king. That's my king! Anyway, we got more to cover. Like fucking birthright citizenship. All right, so listen, if you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, thank you very much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you're watching this live, stay. We're going to keep on going. One last thing. Click that video over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers. Money, 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 money. Sorry, I got to respond to a couple of texts. High-speed train. Yeah, dude. I mean, listen. If we had high-speed transit, you could cross the fucking nation in less than a day. You could go from New York to Los Angeles in less than 24 hours if we had high-speed transit in this fucking nation. First time I've caught that live, I feel honored. Well, welcome, 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 welcome. So we need Zoran on CNN for a thumbnail. Whoa! Oh, look at him. He's so cute and handsome. He's so cute and handsome. All right, 165, episode 165. Will Canada join the EU? I don't know how they could do that if they're in North America. Canada ain't in Europe. Give me back my frames real quick. Thank you. Gaza authorities say drugs were found in U.S. dispatched flour bags. It makes sense. It's sort of like the Hunger Games going on over there, or it's much more like a gladiator arena. The Israelis are creating piles of food, like necessities, like rice and flour and, you know, beans and all that. And then they're allowing they're on a loudspeaker, they're like, all right, the gates are opening up. And then they let in everybody and they all fight over the food. And it's fucking disgusting. It's absolutely like, they're treating them like they're subhuman. It's insane. Give me my frames back real quick. Give me my frames back real quick. Give me my frames back real quick. Yo, give me my frames back real quick. Frames are booty right now? Yeah, that's what happens, dog. That's what happens when you stream from a fucking laptop. Run for office? I plan on it. I plan on it. Genuinely. I was talking about it with my manager today. He was like, yeah, I actually think it might be time. It very well may be time. Help Palestine? How the fuck am I supposed to help Palestine? I do what I can by advocating for their rights and just trying to convince people that Israel is the fucking enemy of free people. But I don't know what you expect me to genuinely do. I said Zoran can help Palestine. Oh, my bad. Whoopsie but whoopsie. Trump said he'd bomb Iran again. Great. Love that. Huge fan. That's not real, by the way. I'm not a huge fan. I'm, in fact, not a fan of that decision. Now that I've considered what the consequences of that decision are, I've come to the conclusion that bombing Iran again would be a bad decision. Yeah, every time I go thummy time, it's Order 66. Good, Anakin. Good. Kill him. What? Kill him. Good, Anakin. Good. Kill him. What office will you run for? Microsoft Office.
Episode 165. Episode 165.
Zoran. The socialist takeover has begun. NYC leads the charge. There is hope yet. Copy. Paste. All right. You're going into the Valenti VOD, little bro. You're getting squeezed into that Valenti VOD, little bro. There is no AI in this, I promise. Yes, I want the video monetized. Immediately. Instantly. How would I rate my video? Sensitive. Controversial. Controversial. Add an end screen. Woman-G! And public. Okay, let's just make sure the video starts off good. Oh, it's still processing. Bless you, Mr. Bean. Bless you. You okay? Little sneeze. I can't believe homophobes are calling Trump daddy. I can, dude. Most of the Republicans are gay as fuck, dude. Like, dead ass. They're like, a lot of Republicans are literally gay. They're not allowed to be gay because of their Christian values. Is that a cat? Yes. All right, let's make sure it's...
Guys, hi, how are you?
Oh, perfect. It actually is perfect timing. All right, and the socialist takeover has begun. NYC leads the charge. Publish. I have a dog, too. Hey, Chris, would you ever talk about trans rights? Yeah, dude, trans rights are human rights. Woman G. Who? No, but that's the thing, Jack. That's the thing. Who do you like? Jack, the socialist takeover, it is nationwide, brother. Me and Avi and the DNC, sorry, not the DNC, the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. What is this? We are all planning on, what the fuck am I looking at? We are all planning on taking over, all right? But what is this? Real quick.
Halo 3 Remastered moved on. At one point,
show me the game.
Engine, they really managed to nail the movement and the mechanics.
What is
it's also
this?
Not the high.
Get off the
Are you
screen.
Really gonna stick around. A stripped down basic legacy. Was a bit hesitant and skeptical, but for what it is, I will be able to.
This looks like dog shit. This thumbnail is all fucking bait. All fucking bait.
Well, as we wait here for President Trump at the White House to speak, a House divided.
Deja Fox in Arizona. Socialist running to replace one of the Arizona Dems that died of old age earlier this year. I'll give her a look. I'll check her
over
out.
who leaked the low confidence preliminary assessment of Iran's nuclear facilities.
But history shows almost all leaks come out of the executive branch.
The low confidence preliminary assessment that was leaked, sadly and dangerously, probably from this body.
Okay, so let's bring in Fox News chief political analyst Britt Hume. Britt, good to see you. Happy Friday to you. A lot of finger pointing going on in Washington, which is pretty par for the norm. The president blames Democrats for this leak as the White House really wages this war on the leaker, and they want to prosecute this leaker as quickly as possible.
A quick rundown on what's going on. We're watching this video. Trump is saying that he will bomb Iran again, and we're going to find out why.
How confident are you that we'll ever know who the leaker is? Because we're still waiting to find out who the leaker is of the Dobbs decision.
That's right, Aisha, and there have been a lot more leak investigations than there have been leakers found, and a lot more leakers than leakers investigated. So, you know, they may find out who leaked this, but I don't think it matters very much. What mattered, of course, was the play that the story got. A very preliminary report, rated low confidence, and it dominated national news for several days because media outlets picked it up and ran with it and treated it more seriously than I think it manifestly deserved. So that would be my point of contention here. And, you know, the administration has criticized the media about this. And
where the fuck did you see the word nuke?
That's right, Aisha, and there have been a lot more leak investigations than there have been leakers found.
Oh, Iran
and a lot more
report.
leakers than leakers investigated. So, you know, they may find out who leaked this, but I don't think it matters very much. What mattered, of course, was the play that the story got. A very preliminary report, rated low confidence, and it dominated national news for several days because media outlets picked it up and ran with it and treated it more seriously than I think it manifestly deserved. So that would be my point of contention here. And, you know, the administration has criticized the media about this, and justly so, I think.
Well, it's interesting because Congress finally got its classified briefing that it had been begging and pleading for. Democrats came out of it, not opposing, you know, that this facility was in fact destroyed. In fact, they were arguing over the words that are being used to describe what happened to this facility. So Chris Murphy, the senator from Connecticut, said, "I just don't think the president was telling the truth when he said this program was obliterated." Britt, does it matter what language you're using? The program has been set back.
Well, the program has clearly been set back, and whether
obliterated is not the same as setback, you stupid fucking bitch.
It's a great thing. That's at 3 o'clock, I believe.
Sir, are you concerned at all about secret nuclear sites in Iran? You talk about maybe just
secret nuclear sites?
Yes, there might be some.
Not really. Can I tell you? They're exhausted. And Israel's exhausted too. And I dealt with both of them. And they both wanted it settled, both of them. And we did a great job, but they're exhausted. The last thing they're thinking about right now is nuclear. You know what they're thinking of? They're thinking about tomorrow, trying to live. It's such a mess. It's such a mess. The place was bombed to hell. And no, I'm not worried about it at all. And I'm putting out a little statement. I'm going to respond to the Ayatollah's statement yesterday that we won the war. Oh, God, we won the war. And I said, look, you're a man of great faith, a man who's highly respected in this country. You have to tell the truth. You got beat to hell.
Wait.
And Israel was beat up too. They were both beat up. And it was a great time to end it. It was quick. They got the hate out. There was a lot of hate. A lot of hate. It would be great if they didn't have that hate. But the last thing they're thinking about.
I want to go to Paula Reed. She's been reading through the opinion. Paula, what are you gleaning from it?
All right, Pamela, here's what we know. This is a big win.
I want to go to Paula Reed. She's been reading through the opinion. Paula, what are you gleaning from it?
All right, Pamela, here's what we know. This is a big win for President Trump because he has been railing against the so-called nationwide injunctions. This is the power of a single judge to block an executive order for the entire country. And this case came up as a result of multiple challenges to his effort to limit birthright citizenship through an executive order. Now, here it appears that the justices are agreeing with Trump and limiting this power that judges have to block a policy for the entire country. Now, on another issue, it does not appear that they have weighed in on whether Trump's effort to limit birthright citizenship is or is not constitutional. Instead, they are limiting the power of these judges to block policies for the entire country, which will likely allow Trump to proceed with this effort to limit birthright citizenship, while the larger constitutional questions about whether he can do that are being litigated. Now, just to explain to you the significance of this, one of President Trump's lawyers told me this is the ball game for President Trump's agenda, because we know more than any modern president, he loves to govern through executive action. And the majority of these have been blocked by lower court judges. So he has not been able to follow through with things he wanted to do on the budget, on mass firing.
So you're saying Trump wants to be a king? You're saying Trump wants to be a king?
On immigration. So now that the justices are limiting the power that judges have to block those policies, this is going to allow them to implement these policies more quickly, though it is possible that some of these might come before the justices in 2 or 3 years with constitutional concerns. But right now, the question was really whether a single judge anywhere in the country could block an executive action for the entire nation. And here, in a historic opinion, the justices are limiting that power. And again, President Trump's lawyers have told me this is the case that they are watching. This means everything for the president's ability to govern through executive actions. Now, I will say, these nationwide injunctions, this is a bipartisan concern. These have plagued every modern president. But because President Trump does so much through executive action, he has faced the greatest number of these nationwide injunctions. So he and his Republican allies here on Capitol Hill, they have been railing against these.
What do they mean by limit birthright citizenship? So if your parents aren't legal, then you won't be if you're born here? Yeah. Trump is trying to get rid of... So in the United States, if you are born on U.S. soil, you are a U.S. citizen. Even if that means you're born on a U.S. military base in fucking Kuwait. Doesn't matter. That's U.S. soil. Trump is trying to get rid of that. Reason being, he wants to deport every single person in this nation that was born here, but their parents immigrated here. Even if they immigrated here legally, they're going to deport your parents too, but they're first going to deport the kids. If you were born on U.S. soil and your parents are immigrants, they weren't born here, they're going to deport you, or they're going to try.
This is a pet issue for them. And now the conservative supermajority siding with President Trump and his Republican allies to limit this power from judges. A huge
deport everyone,
decision.
no one will be left in the U.S. Stephen Miller said himself that if he had his way, there would only be 100 million people in the United States and they would all be white. Okay? You need to stop thinking that you're like joke of like, oh, like there'll be nobody left. You need to stop thinking that's a joke. It's not a joke. They want to get rid of 230 million people.
So just to be precise, Paula, this was a 6-3 decision, 6 conservative justices, 3 liberal justices. Is that right?
And it was authored by Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Now, some of her conservative colleagues did also opine concurrences here. We're still reading through those. We have old school, the paper copy. It is very long. We're still getting through the whole opinion. So these are just the top lines, but this is enormous. This is yet another huge win for President Trump from this conservative supermajority. Now, we have been reporting since Trump took office in January that his lawyers were telling me, even though a lot of their policies were getting bogged down in the lower courts, that anything they could get in front of this high court, that they would ultimately win. They were playing a long game, and this decision right here, this is proof that this long game they've been playing for the past 6 or 7 months, they've won, and they've won big time.
All right, Paula, stand by. We'll get back to you as you continue reading this opinion, and we'll see what the final decision is with a lot more specific details. I want to go to Jeff Zeleny. He's over at the White House for us, where they're watching very, very closely, probably more closely than any place else in the country right now, what the U.S. Supreme Court is doing.
There's no question about that, Wolf, and exactly what Paula was saying there. This is about something much broader than birthright citizenship. Yes, that specific issue was the venue to get this to the Supreme Court. That will likely be decided on a different day, but it is just the idea of this power of the executive branch that really is at issue here. It's hard to think of another administration, and I've covered the last 4 or 5 presidents, I guess, that has used their executive authority as much, and it's been challenged by lower courts. Now the Supreme Court is weighing in, and it is giving the executive branch considerable power. One White House official, and they're reading through this opinion in the White House counsel's office just as everyone else is, but is pointing to this line in Justice Amy Coney Barrett's opinion. It says this: when a court concludes that the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its power too. So basically, if the executive branch has exceeded its authority, a judge...
Real quick, palate cleanser. The wind. Hi. Hi. Hi, the wind.
Cannot also weigh in a singular judge. So the White House is viewing this ruling as very consequential that could affect a variety of policies, a variety of cases that exist really across the spectrum of what this administration has tried to do. So there's no doubt, even though birthright citizenship was something the president long talked about, he campaigned on, this is bigger than that in a sense because it is broader, and it's answering a question, at least for the moment, about the power of the executive branch that many lower courts have raised into question.
Jeff Zeleny at the White House.
Yeah, and obviously this impacts the power of the executive branch, but it impacts every single American as well. And I think that's a big focus here, because I remember, Ellie, during the oral arguments, one of the concerns brought up was if judges can't do the nationwide injunction, then you have a patchwork where the plaintiffs, are under the injunction, but others in America wouldn't be under that. And so that's really the question here. How does it address that issue?
Yeah, and in this case, in the birthright citizenship case, there was something like 6 different lawsuits filed in 6 different district courts. This case is an amalgamation of 3 of them that went up to the Supreme Court. So now they're going to be back in the district courts. That's where most of the action happens in the federal judiciary. We're very focused on the U.S. Supreme Court. But this question remains in flux. People who were born to parents who are not citizens could have different status in different districts at this moment. I do want to read to the point that Paula and Jeff were making. This is a good sense of why this is so important. It's a quote from the opinion. It's on page 5, written by Amy Coney Barrett. She's writing for the 6-justice conservative majority, an expansion of presidential powers, a reduction in the powers of courts. Here's what Justice Barrett writes. By the end of the Biden administration, we had reached a state of affairs where almost every major presidential action was immediately frozen by a federal district court. As the number of universal injunctions has increased, so too has the importance of this issue. And I think that's a nice encapsulation of why this is such a big win for the
haven't
Trump
heard shit about that, Duke. Sounds fucking nuts, though.
Administration. And not just Donald John Trump, the person, but the office of the president. Whoever comes next is going to get the benefit of this ruling too. And it's going to make it much harder, not impossible, but much harder for a single district court judge in Maryland or Wyoming or where have you to say, I'm blocking the president's action nationwide. It's going to be much harder to do that now.
And isn't there a strategic victory, obviously, on behalf of the administration, back to those oral arguments that you were talking about, Pamela, by focusing this on the nationwide injunction issue and not the underlying birthright citizenship, which clearly does... I know every scholar says it's not constitutional at its core, right, but does live on to fight another day and perhaps have some enforcement or enactment in the meantime.
And this is part, I've just started to sort of dig into the dissent, but this is part of what the 3 liberal justices say in dissent. We're going to end up with chaos. We're going to end up with a system where if you're born in New Jersey, you might have different status than if you're born under the exact same circumstances across the river in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia. And so that's one of the problems here, the practical problems. I think you're exactly right, David. And again, important to stress, the dispute over birthright citizenship itself and Donald Trump's effort to not eliminate it, but narrow it, That's for another day. That, I think, will make its way back to the Supreme Court, but not this term.
And I think, or excuse me, I think that's actually one of the critical points. This is not an end. This is the beginning. I think it's premature to declare victory for the administration in this. What this opinion is a full employment license for litigators. Now, all of these cases go back to the lower courts. The Supreme Court appears to have said you can bring these cases as class actions. You don't have to proceed individually, but class actions are a complicated question as well. This is going to get litigated over time. Now that it's consistent.
Dude, Trump is just slowly trying to dismantle the Constitution piece by fucking piece. Bit by bit.
So Canada put a charge on some of our companies, and Canada's been a very difficult country to deal with over the years. You know, we hear Canada, we have a great relationship with the people of Canada, but it's been very difficult. And they put a charge, and they were a little bit early. We found out about it. So, and we have all the cards. We have every single one. We don't want to do anything bad, but they have economically, we have such power over Canada. I'd rather not use it, but they did something with our tech companies today, trying to copy Europe. You know, they copied Europe. It's not going to work out well for Europe either, and it's not going to work out well for Canada. They were foolish to do it. So I said we're going to stop all negotiations with Canada right now until they straighten out their act. Okay?
Is there anything Canada can do to change your mind about this situation?
Well, no, they put a tax on companies that were American companies that they shouldn't have, very severe tax. And, yeah, I guess they could remove it. They will, but I don't really, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. We have all the cards. We have all the cards. You know, we do a lot of business with Canada, but relatively little. They do most of their businesses with us.
I did see the older millennial got fucking arrested and he got tased because he tried to resist arrest. That's the funniest shit ever, dude. It's so fucking funny.
And when you have that circumstance, you treat people better. They've had farmers that...
You guys didn't know this? Yeah, dude, it's so fucking funny. I hate these AI videos so much.
Chat, today we're on O Block. Chat, today we're on O Block. And these nice...
Oh, is that the old one? Yeah, here it is. This was taken like 3 days ago, bro. He also got fucking tased because he resisted arrest. This is also because he fucking, he had a warrant for his arrest and he was dodging bail. He was like, or bond or some shit.
Are getting like 300, 400, 200% in tariffs.
What's up with your hate for millennials? The guy's name is The Older Millennial. What the fuck are you talking about? What?
Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We have cases, you don't read this and the people don't report, but they charge us 400% on some dairy products. 400%. Nobody writes that. It's not fair to our farmers, and we've got to protect our farmers.
Oh, Jesus, Donald.
Very, very bad ones. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. On your tax bill, if I could for a moment, senators are racing to rewrite parts of it right now after the Senate parliamentarian ruled that sections of it were outside of the process that they're using to get this through. Do you think that senators should respect the decisions of the parliamentarian? And what have you personally done in the last 48 hours to try and get Republican senators who are against the bill to a yes?
Well, look, it's a great bill. It's a massive tax cut. If it's not approved, your taxes will go up by 68%. Think of that, 68, a record, the highest in the history. The Democrats won't approve it only because politically it's so good for the Republicans. The Democrats aren't approving it. But think of what they're not approving. They're not approving border security. We've done a great job at the border, but we have to add some wall. We have to do, various things. We have no money for that. We have no money for the border. We have no money for so many things. But if the Democrats, it'd be interesting to see if we get any Democrat votes. We should. If I were a Democrat, I would absolutely, maybe Fetterman, because he seems to be the most sensible one lately. If I were a Democrat, I would vote for this bill all day long because it's tax cuts and so many other things that are common sense. They're basic things. I think they're doing fine. The parliamentarian's been a little difficult. And I would say that I disagree with the parliamentarian on some things, and on other ways he's been fine. But we'll have to see. It's a big issue. I will tell you this: if that bill doesn't pass, the country will get a 68% tax increase. So think of this: you're a Democrat and you vote against it. That means you're voting in favor, because essentially you're voting in favor of the largest tax.
Look at that fucking cock holster on Dolan. Look at that cock holster on King Dolan. Holy shit. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Or somebody that we respect, including ourselves.
And a question for both.
Or somebody that we respect, including ourselves.
And a question.
Or somebody that
What the fuck, bro? Give me the video I'm clicking, you piece of shit.
Or somebody that we respect.
What the fuck, dog? What the fuck?
Go ahead.
11
Yeah, with the glasses.
I'm with Iran.
Go ahead, yes. Yeah, no, the man behind you, yeah, please.
President Trump, Anthony Mashhad from Amphibian Lebanon. I want to ask you regarding the threats posed by Iran's allies and proxies operating in the U.S. They were threatening your life. So what do you say about that? And regarding the Lebanon, because Hezbollah is as well part of Iran's allies, is there any time frame in Lebanon regarding disarming Hezbollah in Lebanon?
Yeah, Lebanon is a great place with brilliant people. You know, it was known for the professors and doctors and had an incredible history.
Quick reminder, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. If you do want to help this channel financially, that is how I make my money. It comes from grassroots funding from you guys. I got no donors, no ad reads, no conversations with shady billionaires, so every dollar goes a long way. Thank you very much to everybody. You can become a member, you can become a patron, you can donate to the channel, you can buy merch, and you can use the discount code. Those are a bunch of different ways to help me out.
And hopefully we can bring it back again. I just appointed a friend of mine who's Lebanese, and I didn't know he was Lebanese. I've known him for 20 years, very, very successful man. And I just appointed him. And I said, why would you want that? He said, because I was born there, I was raised there, I love it. I love it so much. I said, you know, it's very dangerous going to Lebanon as ambassador. And he said, that's what they say, but I don't care about danger. I mean, this is a guy that is just a very...
You know that none of what he's talking about happened, right? You do know that, like, there's no shot that whoever the fuck he's talking about said any of this shit. Let's go back and listen again. Like, dude, are you fucking for real?
Him. And I said, why would you want that? He said, because I was born there, I was raised there, I love it. I love it so much. I said, you know, it's very dangerous going to Lebanon as ambassador. And he said, that's what they say, but I don't care about danger. I mean, this is a guy that is just a very big business guy. He wants to give up his whole life to go to Lebanon because he believes in it so much.
I don't think I saw your super chat, though.
We're with Lebanon all the way. We'll try and straighten it out.
That's it. actions?
Threaten my life? Yeah, they have threatened. I get that throbbing feeling every once in a while. Get that throbbing feeling, but you know what? That's okay. This is a dangerous business. What I do is a dangerous business. You know, I tell the story of the car companies and different people in different professions. You have race car drivers, as an example. 1/10 of 1% die. Bull riders, 1/10 of 1%. That's not a lot, but it's people die. When you're president, it's about 5%.
Why is he talking about bull riders? What the fuck are we talking about right now? What the fuck are we talking about right now? This guy's a fucking lunatic.
The car companies and different people in different professions. You have
$5.
race car drivers, as an example. 1/10 of 1% die. Bull riders, 1/10 of 1%. That's not a lot, but it's people die. When you're president, it's about 5%.
There's only been 47 presidents. Do you think there's only 47 bull riders? Oh my God, dude. You couldn't write this shit if you paid someone to write the stupidest motherfucker to ever become the president. You couldn't write this shit.
If somebody would have told me that, maybe I wouldn't have run. Okay?
Somebody would have told you that. Brother, you could have done the math. You could have done the math. There's what, 47? There's 40. There were 46 presidents before you. How many of them were fucking taken out or shot? There was like Roosevelt, and I mean, brother, you could have done the math. It's easy math. There's only 46 before you, and you were one of them.
This is a very dangerous profession. Should, by the way, so many questions. Should we keep this going, Pam? This is the opposite of Biden. Biden would take a half a question and he'd leave.
Dude, Trump going 5 minutes without saying Biden. Challenge level impossible. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? I fucking hate those clanker pieces of shit. Those fucking oil-slicking roboloids.
Okay, we want to take you back to the White House right now. President Donald Trump was on the podium just a few moments ago speaking about a huge court ruling from the Supreme Court. Right now we're seeing Attorney General Pam Bondi speaking, so let's listen in.
No longer will we have rogue judges striking down President Trump's policies across the entire nation. No longer. Today, in the 6-3 opinion, Justice Barrett correctly holds that the district court lacks authority to enter nationwide or universal injunctions. These lawless
Did she say lax? Because it sounded like she said locks, this dumb fucking bitch. Hold on.
A huge court ruling from the Supreme Court. Right now we're seeing Attorney General Pam Bondi speaking, so let's listen in.
No longer will we have rogue judges striking down President Trump's policies across the entire nation. No longer. Today, in the 6-3 opinion, Justice Barrett correctly holds that the district court lacks authority to enter nationwide or universal injunctions. These lawless injunctions gave relief to everyone in the world instead of the parties before the court. As the Supreme Court held today, they turned district courts into the imperial judiciary. Active liberal judges have used these injunctions to block virtually all of President Trump's policies.
Because virtually all of President Trump's policies have been fucking illegal.
There are 94 federal judicial districts. 5 of those districts throughout this country held 35 of the nationwide injunctions. Think about that. 94 districts and 35 out of the 40 opinions with nationwide injunctions came from 5 liberal districts in this country.
Because there's only 5 fucking districts with a pair of balls left on them, Pam.
No longer. These injunctions have blocked our policies from tariffs to military readiness to immigration to foreign affairs, fraud, abuse, and many other issues. The judges have tried to seize the executive branch's power, and they cannot do that. No longer. No longer. And on immigration, on a side note, today marks 2,711 arrests on these terrorists and these gangs. Total arrest today with HSI investigations. And thank you, Stephen Miller. Thank you to Homeland Security.
Yo, if somebody says thank you, Stephen Miller, I honestly think that's like signing a blood pact with fucking Lucifer. If you say thank you, Stephen Miller, you are permanently banned from heaven. Like, I can't believe that shit.
Thank you to everyone working hand in hand with the FBI on all of these transnational gangs. TDA has been a huge terror to our country, as well as MS-13, as well as Sinaloa cartels. No longer. No longer. These injunctions have allowed district court judges to be emperors. They vetoed all of President Trump's power, and they cannot do that. This has been a bipartisan problem that has lasted 5 presidential terms, 5 different presidents, and it has ended today. We will continue to fight for President Trump's policies. I want to thank the Office of White House Counsel, Dave Warrington. You and your staff have been incredible. Our Solicitor General's office, John Sowers, Sarah Harris, and Todd Blanche and Emil Bovey. Todd's going to say...
Hold on. Hey there, welcome back. Second Valenti VOD of the day. Not usual, but it's needed. The Trump regime got the Supreme Court to pretty much just further escalate Trump's ban on birthright citizenship. He's going to violate the Constitution, terminate birthright citizenship. The Supreme Court has ruled that federal judges cannot send out nationwide injunctions, which essentially means that if they find the Trump regime to be violating the Constitution or violating the law, then a federal judge can file an injunction, which is sort of like a pause to this illegal action that the Trump regime is putting on. It is sort of like a way to tariff them or charge them or tax them. It's a way to keep the president in line, right? It is an integral part of our fucking democracy. And Trump is tired of that. You know, as you know, Trump loves to rule through executive orders, and he keeps on passing executive order left and right. But there's a handful of judges left in this nation. There's a handful of districts left in this nation who have a fucking pair of balls on them, and they keep on hitting them with injunctions. So instead of, not doing illegal shit, the Trump regime has bent over the Supreme Court and fucked them up the ass into submission to the point where the Supreme Court of the United States says, yes, mein Führer, you can do whatever you want and there can be no consequences. So we're going to watch Pam Bondi, who's just like an older, leathery version of KK Caroline No Lip Levitt. We're going to watch her. We're going to watch King Doland. We're going to watch a whole bunch of people just cheering and celebrating at the demise of our Constitution. But before we do, let me remind you, hi, how are you? I'm Chris Valenti. I'm a democratic socialist. I'm also a douchebag. I'm from New York. I majored in history. I minored in political science. And I fucking hate fascists. So please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing. I got like 3 million views this month, but we've only got 72,000 subs. That means a whole lot of you are fucking lacking, so click that red button. Daddy needs it, all right? Other than that, if you want to support the channel financially, because this is real independent journalism and I have no funding, a couple of ways you could do it: buy merch, become a member, become a patron, donate to the channel, or use that discount code for Ground News. Without further ado, let's fuck.
A few words because we've had another major ruling today on transgender books and some other
come on, transgender books. I didn't know books could fucking change their gender. I didn't even know books had a gender. Fuck you.
Wins that we've had, but no longer will they have this power in our country. It is the president's authority under his executive branch to do everything to fight for the American
look him in the eyes, you fucking bitch.
People, and he will continue to do that. That's why he was overwhelmingly elected. Thank you.
Thank you. Today's a great day for the rule of law. It's a great day for the Justice Department, and it's one that's been a long time coming, and one that every American should have been waiting for with bated breath. And so I echo what the President said and Attorney General Bondi, that the Supreme Court did.
Where's the rest of you? Where's your neck?
A great thing today, not only for this administration, but for every American in this country. If not for the injunctions case, we would be here talking about another great decision that came down today, the trans books case, which restores parents' rights to decide their child's education. Seems like a basic idea, but it took the Supreme Court to set the record straight, and we thank them for that. And now that ruling allows parents to opt out of dangerous trans ideology and make the decisions for their...
Meanwhile, same fucking guy's like grabbing his 6-year-old son by the shoulders and going, "If you're gay, you die in fire! Eternal hellfire! Forever!" Like, fucking, like, who's really indoctrinating the kids, you fucking theocratic fascists?
Children that they believe is correct, and so we thank the Supreme Court for that. There's been multiple decisions over the past several weeks that just show why this nationwide injunction ban had to happen. For example, what I mean by that is local district court judges issuing decisions that are clearly contrary to law just because they don't like the policy of President Trump. And when it gets to the Supreme Court has to correct it. But that takes time. The Attorney General thanked our lawyers, and I'll do it again. Our lawyers are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to fight these injunctions and to emergency appeals, emergency stays, going back to the district court judge, asking them to change their view. And so their hard work is really paying off.
Didn't they want states' rights? No, the Republicans don't actually have beliefs. States' rights, not real. Gun rights, not real. They don't give a fuck about anything. Freedom of speech, not real. Do you understand that if the Republicans could make it a law so that nobody in blue states could own a firearm, they would? They don't give a fuck about the law.
Today, but over the past few weeks, we had a stay of an order that prevented DHS from moving aliens to a third country. We had a stay of an order that stopped the Department of Defense from implementing military readiness, the EO that President Trump signed. We had another stay of an order forcing reinstatement of fired executive branch employees, entirely within the President and Article 2, his right to do. We had a stay of, as you all know, of numerous DOJ cases. And again, every one of those stays requires a tremendous amount of work and effort by the lawyers and parties involved, and they should be doing other work. They should be doing the work that the President and this administration demands and has a right to demand, and not fighting these local judges who don't make decisions based on the law. They make decisions because they just simply don't agree with the administration's decision about a policy, and that's wrong. Thank you.
That guy doesn't know how to fucking talk on a camera or on a microphone. Let's see what King Doland has to say about this.
To the lawyers about that, but this is really also
decision in October. Next question.
Thank you, Mr. President. A question for you, sir. Do you believe this ends the power of the lower court judges to stop your agenda? Do you see this as a full green light for your agenda going forward?
Well, you'd have to really speak to the lawyers about that, but this is really also a decision based on common sense. It didn't work the other way. It was a disaster where somebody from a certain location in a very liberal state, or a liberal judge, or a liberal group of judges could tie up a whole country for years, because their decision would sometimes take years to overturn. We've overturned many of the decisions, but it would take years to do it. And we have to act quickly when it comes to illegal immigration. We have murderers, killers, we have drug dealers, we have what they've allowed to come into our...
I know he repeats that all the time. But it's bullshit. Never once have they been able to provide any evidence that any country has emptied out their prisons or their psych wards or anything of the sorts and just sent them up into America. And on top of that, according to Border Patrol statistics and according to the Department of Homeland Security, undocumented immigrants are far less likely to commit any crime than a U.S. citizen. Why? Because they could get deported if they get caught. You're just going to get fined maybe a couple of weeks in jail.
Our country, should never be forgotten. It should never be forgotten what they've done to our country. And we have to be able to act very quickly, and we're going to do that. Thank you.
Just as Amy Coney Barrett, sir, I know that you praised her and her opinion here in this case. She has taken some heat, though, from some of your supporters who have labeled her weak, a squishy, a rattled law professor. What is your take on that?
I don't know about that. I just have great respect for her. I always have. And her decision was brilliantly written today, from all accounts. Yeah.
Transgender relations, Mr. President. What would you say to Americans who fear that this is more and more concentration of power in the White House and the executive?
Well, this really brings back the Constitution. This is what it's all about. And this is really the opposite.
Brother, you don't give a fuck about the Constitution. You were asked directly, don't you need to uphold the Constitution? You know what you said? I don't know. Shut your fucking mouth.
Of that. I mean, the question is fine, but it's the opposite. The Constitution has been brought back.
Thank you so much, President Trump. Illegal crossings in the border are zero now.
Zero. Does everyone hear that? Zero.
Trump 2028.
Do you intend, President Trump?
What was that? What was that?
Border are zero now.
Zero. Does everyone hear that?
Trump 2028. Kick that guy out. Take his hands.
Do you intend, President Trump?
Who's that guy? I like him. He's working the cameras.
With this new reality, President Trump, in the border, do you intend to engage personally with leaders from South America, not only Central America, in order to tackle this situation in a fruitful way? And if you have a perspective of meeting some presidents from South America, as Brazil, for example.
Well, you should, as an example, not South America, but NATO over the weekend.
Yeah.
They have great respect for our country now. They did things that nobody thought was possible. They took funding from 2% to 5%. Nobody thought they'd ever pay the 2%, and now they're paying the 5%. It's over $1 trillion more a year. Think of that, $1 trillion. Nobody thought that could happen. That's a different group of people, different countries. But we get along with a lot of countries. We are respected again. Our country, the U.S., is respected again. Was not respected 6 months ago, I can tell you.
I got a lot of foreigners here. I'm frankly certain that the United States seems like a joke to most of the world more than it ever has. Like, to my foreign chatters here, tell me if I'm correct here. The United States used to be respected. Like, you guys, maybe even if you didn't think we were the good guy, you at least feared us a little bit. I don't think anybody either fears us, respects us. I mean, maybe they fear your stupidity, but like, we fucking failed a nuclear, we failed at bombing the nuclear sites, bro. We had the fucking most pathetic fascist birthday party for you where our soldiers couldn't even fucking march and our tanks were squeaking, guy. Who the fuck? Nobody is afraid of us. Nobody respects us. The whole fucking world is laughing at us.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Mr. President, you have a deadline coming up on trade in 2 weeks. Which countries, if any, on trade, on tariffs, sir, which countries, if any, are close to agreements with the administration?
Well, that's an interesting question. We've made a deal with China. We've made a deal with probably 4 or 5 different countries. With the UK, it was a great deal for both. And we're...
Yo, he has lizard eyes. Like, he genuinely has lizard eyes, like reptilian eyes.
in the process of making some others.
Look at
But ultimately, in fact, Scott is here, and Howard Lutnick, these 2 guys have been doing an incredible job, and the people that work with them have been doing an incredible job. But, you know, we have 200 countries, you could say 200 countries plus. We can't do that. So
200 countries plus. Wait a minute. $200 countries plus. Brother, are you dealing with, like, the Agarthans underneath Antarctica? What the fuck are we talking about, bro? Are you dealing with the Greys? Are you making a deal with the Andromedans and the Martians? What? 200 plus? Are you talking to the Nephilim?
At a certain point over the next week and a half or so, or maybe before, we're going to send out a letter. We talked to many of the countries.
Bro, are you talking to the Viltrumites?
Just going to tell them what they have to pay to do business in the United States. And it's going to go very quickly. But some of the bigger countries, so India, I think we're going to reach a deal where we have the right to go in and trade. Right now it's restricted. You can't walk in there. You can't even think about it. We're looking to get a full trade barrier dropping, which is unthinkable. And I'm not sure that that's going to happen. But as of this moment, we've agreed to that, go into Indian trade. We're going to be trading in China. That's going to come a little bit down the road, but we're going to be trading in China. We have a lot of great things going, and we're getting along with countries, but some will be disappointed because they're going to have to pay tariffs. And we've taken in already hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. No inflation.
What are the Agarthans? They're not real. It's like Nazi shit. Nazis are like, the Agarthans are like the Aryan race that live underneath the ice, and they're this, and they have UFOs, and they can move at the speed of sound. Like, dude, it's the stupidest shit you'll ever fucking hear.
We have a Fed guy that doesn't understand what's happening, and it would be great if he'd lower the rate because we'd be able to borrow a lot cheaper. Yeah, go ahead, please. Why don't we keep it on this subject? This is such a big subject. You know what? Trade is so big, but this, I don't know, in a certain way, this might be bigger than trade. I think this is bigger than trade. Yes, please, go ahead.
I was wondering, though, if you could...
Go ahead.
Sir, on the transgender ruling, the Supreme Court ruling that parents with religious objections can pull their kids out of public school lessons that use LGBTQ materials. Pam brought it up. Your reaction to that ruling today, sir?
I think the ruling was a great ruling, and I think it's a great ruling for parents. It's really a ruling for parents. They lost control of the schools.
So I have a question. If a parent can just pull their student out for them learning about LGBTQ stuff, does that mean we're just not going to teach them about, like, I don't know, fucking Alan Turing, the father of computer science? Are we not going to teach them about, I don't know, fucking all of the Greeks? Like, all Greek history. Or the Romans, or the Spartans. What the fuck, bro? How are you going to teach them anything?
Lost control of their child. And this is a tremendous victory for parents. And I'm not surprised by it, but I am surprised that it went this far. It took us to bring life back to normal, so it's wonderful. It's parental, and I kept saying, we will give you back your parental rights. They were taken away, and this is a tremendous victory for parents. Yeah.
Mr. President, if you look at the back at the last week, it's been extraordinary in terms of the action in the Middle East. You were at The Hague. I'm wondering
now, hell of a week, hasn't it?
I'm wondering now if you believe that Iran. I'm wondering now, sir, if you believe that Iran has given up its long history of ambitions with nuclear weapons, or what you would like to see from them to prove that they do, and what type of meetings is your administration looking for next week with Iran?
So Iran wants to meet. As you know, their sites were obliterated. They're very evil nuclear sites. They were, now has been proven. We had some fake news for a little while. The same people that covered the Hunter Biden laptop was from Russia. The same people that did 3 or 4 other Russia hoax.
But on their
no, wait, just listen. They came up with something that delayed the credit that our great pilots and these great America, I mean, what talent that was, and they hit it right down in the spot. 52,000 feet. Think of this dark, no moon, you couldn't see a thing. And they hit the refrigerator door, as they say. That's the size of a target. And overwhelmingly, and it's amazing what was done. We're the only ones that could have done it. And we took out the other 2 of their sites also. In addition to that, we finished them off. That was a very evil intention. I believe that, and again, time will tell, but I don't believe that they're going to go back into nuclear anytime soon. They spent over $1 trillion on nuclear, and they never got it
No one
together.
knows what he's saying.
And nothing was moved from the site, by the way. To do that is very dangerous. It's very, very heavy material. Those cars were most likely the cars of Masons because they were pouring concrete at the top.
Guys, I told you that I told you they were trying to get rid of injunctions. I told you they were trying to get rid of the federal courts. Like, we covered this a couple of days ago, bro. Buried within the big, beautiful bill is a stipulation on like page 512 that literally makes Donald Trump the king of the United States. It's in the bill. It's in the bill. And it's getting voted on tomorrow? So tomorrow, Donald Trump will either become the king of the United States or I don't even know. Honestly, I got no hope. That's it. He's going to be the king. They're going to make him the king. If that bill passes, he's the king. He cannot be removed from office. He cannot be charged. He cannot be taxed. He can't. That's it. That is it. He could violate any law and nobody can hold him accountable. It's crazy.
At the hatch, as you know, the hatch going into the nuclear site, they wanted to reinforce it, and they had some masons there pouring concrete. By the way, that concrete was obliterated. It hit exactly
How can MAGA
with the
support
concrete.
this, bro? Bro, they don't have thoughts. They don't have thoughts. They just do what is told. That's why so many of them join the fucking military. They're incapable of making their own decisions. They prefer following orders than making decisions because it takes the entire decision-making out of it.
It was, I don't think it had a chance to dry, but everything's down there. It's under millions of tons of rock. Please. Yes.
Your administration has said that El Salvador is one of the safest countries in the hemisphere. So why haven't you yet canceled temporary protected status for that country? Was it part of the deal?
Well, we'll take a look. We've had a great relationship with El Salvador. They have a fantastic leader. They built a massive prison system.
I've been calling Trump the Fuhrer for quite a while.
And I don't know exactly why, but it's a hell of a system. And we bring people there, and when they go there, they don't get out. And frankly, when they hear they have to go there, they become very nice people. They become very nice people. It's a tough system, but it's a brilliant system. And it's a system done by a very, very good leader. We'll talk about El Salvador. A lot of respect. Yeah, please.
Thank you. A question for you and then a question for the Attorney General. As you go into negotiations and talks with Iran, are you demanding not only that there would be no uranium production inside of Iran, but also that Iran would turn over all existing stockpiles of uranium?
Well, you know, we're a little early for that, but something like that, yeah, we'll do something like that. Let me say that I've been saying for 25
Later,
years,
Jack.
even as a civilian,
Thanks, bud.
You cannot let them have a nuclear weapon, and that's what happened. It's been obliterated. It would be years before they could ever get going, and I really think it's probably the last thing. They have to recover from a hell of
Thanks,
a tough
Cole,
war.
for becoming a loyalist.
Would you also be demanding that the IAEA have full rights to inspect in Iran?
Or somebody, yeah, or somebody that we respect,
And then
including ourselves.
And a question for both the President and the Attorney General. Under birthright citizenship, if this is implemented, who would be tasked with actually vetting citizenship? And how, like, would this be a situation where you have nurses and doctors checking for citizenship of parents? Or
This is all pending litigation. It's going to be decided in October by the Supreme Court, and we'll discuss that after the litigation.
if you have an undocumented baby, would that baby then be an enforcement priority?
I can't believe they just said the word undocumented baby. We really do live in hell. Let's hear that again.
By the Supreme Court, and we'll discuss that after the litigation.
If you have an undocumented baby,
If you have an undocumented baby, and these fucking people think that they're being welcomed into heaven by St. Peter, you think Jesus Christ isn't going to have a problem with undocumented baby? Brother, that is the crazy... Are we dead ass right now? Are we dead ass right now?
would that baby then be an enforcement priority?
The violent criminals in our country are the priority now. Let me put it in.
Oh my God, that she won't answer it because the answer is, yeah, we're deporting undocumented babies.
Perspective. Today marked the 2,711th arrest in our country of TDA members. Just TDA. Everyone in this room agrees they are one of the most violent criminal organizations
move the
in the
goalpost.
world.
Shift the topic.
And the Biden administration let them walk into our country for the last 4 years. 2,711 of them today have been arrested in our country. That is the priority of Donald Trump. That is the priority of this country, of Homeland Security, of all of our lawyers, of FBI. That's the priority. That will be discussed in October when the Supreme Court hopefully rules in our favor, and we're very confident of that. But you should all feel safer now that President Trump can deport all of these gangs, and not one district court judge.
This is some evil, demonic cunt spawned out of the fucking womb of Satan. This evil, disgusting, wrinkly, turkey-necked fucking tramp is fucking nasty. Oh, you're nasty.
Judge can think they're an emperor over this administration and his executive powers and why the people of the United States elected him.
I just might add one thing, and they used birthright citizenship, some of the worst people, some of the cartels, to get people into our country, just so you know. And again, I say, if you look at the end of the Civil War, the 1800s, it was a very turbulent time. If you take the end day, was it 1869 or whatever, but you take that exact day, that's when the case was filed.
No, it couldn't. No, it wasn't 1869. Yeah, it ended. Wait, when did it end? Yeah, it ended in 65. What the fuck are we talking about, Donald?
And the case ended shortly thereafter. This had to do with the babies of slaves, very, very obviously. And I think we're going to win. People didn't, I don't think they went about discussing it right. I came along and we looked and we said, wait a minute, this is wrong. We've been looking at birthright citizenship wrong for years, but they've used it. The cartels have used birthright citizenship to get very bad people in, and what Pam's doing and what...
How could a cartel use birthright citizenship to get very bad people in? Are you saying that they're spawning in babies and oh my God, they're saying they're sleeper cells. He's saying they're sleeper cells. He is saying, unironically, that the children in the United States, born on U.S. soil, that are children of immigrants, are all sleeper cells. Like the fucking Winter Soldier. Oh my God, bro. Again, I know I say this often, but if you still support Donald Trump, fuck you. You're an inferior fucking being. You're an oxygen thief. Shut the fuck up forever. I wish you violently ill. Suck my dick. Back to the fucking show.
Todd and everybody else, what they're doing at DOJ and all over, FBI, ICE, Border Patrol, these are incredible people. They're trying to keep our country safe, and they don't want to have people come in. This is just another way that they get illegal immigrants into our country, and in some cases, very, very bad ones. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. On your tax bill, if I could for a moment, senators are racing to rewrite parts of it right now after the Senate parliamentarian ruled that sections of it were outside of the process that they're using to get this
I got no
through.
choice today,
Do
Prophet.
you think that senators should respect...
Hey, Cole just sent 5 gifted Valenti Videos membership. Congratulations to the 5 people who just got memberships.
The decisions of the parliamentarian, and what have you personally done in the last 48 hours to try and get Republican senators who are against the bill to a yes?
$5 I made.
Well, look, it's a great bill. It's a massive tax cut. If it's not approved, your taxes will go up by 68%. Think of that, 68, a record, the highest in the history.
That's not true whatsoever. Honestly, I can't tell anymore if Dolan thinks that's true or if he knows he's lying. What do you guys think? Do you think Trump thinks that's true? Or do you think he knows he's lying? What is he doing?
The Democrats won't approve it only because politically it's so good for the Republicans. The Democrats aren't approving it. But think of what they're not approving. They're not approving border security.
You know what? Now that I think of it, no, there's no fucking shot Trump read a 1,000-page bill. Right? This is his own bill. And I genuinely don't believe he read a fucking word of it. I think Donald Trump didn't read the big, beautiful bill. There's no shot he sat there and read 1,000 pages, right? There's no fucking shot. There's no shot. Who wrote this? Who the fuck wrote it?
Border, but we have to add some wall. We have to do, various things. We have no money for that. We have no money for the border. We have no money for so many things. But if the Democrats, it'd be interesting to see if we get any Democrat votes. We should. If I were a Democrat, I would absolutely, maybe Fetterman, because he seems to be the most sensible one lately.
Oh my God! Yeah. The one who had a fucking stroke and turned into a Zionist. Yeah, that one.
This bill all day long because it's tax cuts and so many other things that are common sense. They're basic things. I think they're doing fine. The parliamentarian's been a little difficult. And I would say that I disagree with the parliamentarian on some things, and on other ways she's been fine. But we'll have to see. It's a big issue. I will tell you this: if that bill doesn't pass, the country will get a 68% tax increase. So think of this:
the
you're
country,
a Democrat.
Dude, he's so fucking dumb. The country will get a 68% tax increase. Even you, the 1%. Never you, you fuck.
And you vote against it, that means you're voting in favor, because essentially you're voting in favor of the largest tax hike in the history of our country. And you can't do that. In addition, we're cutting costs by $1.7 trillion, and it won't affect anybody. It's just fraud, waste, and abuse.
Mr. President, a leading global economist just did a 180 and says your tariff plan, you may have outsmarted everybody with it. What is your message?
I love this. I love this question. This is the favorite. This is the best question I've ever been asked, because I've been going through abuse for years on this.
But
Dude, he's giving me, oh God, he's giving me agita. Oh my God, dude, the President of the United States is a fucking petulant child. He's a petulant fucking child, dude. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I'm gonna crash the fuck out.
Because as you know, we're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, no inflation whatsoever.
But Mr. President, what is your message to critics who think your tariff plan will cause a recession?
I think they should go back to business school. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. I mean, we're taking in billions and billions of dollars from China and a lot of other countries. We took in. I had a call from somebody, and
I can't do it. I can't do 14 more minutes of this fucking fat Führer. I can't fucking do it. Fat orange Hitler just gonna keep on fucking rambling. I can't fucking do it. I can't fucking do it. I can't fucking do it. I fucking hate this son of a bitch. I fucking hate this son of a bitch, dude. Listen, if you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, I love you. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Click that video over there. I promise you it's a banger. If you're watching this live, you stay. We're going to keep on going. Hey, your thoughts on something? Yeah, go for it. What's up? What's up? If he decides to repeal the Jones Act, that means he can deport all Puerto Ricans. That's 9 million Hispanics, including me. You know he's thinking about that, will he? Probably. Because you got to remember, when it comes to, like, deportation, that's usually Stephen Miller at the head. Stephen Miller wants to deport everybody in this nation who's not white. So, yeah, that's very realistic. That is very realistic. All right. Yeah, as soon as the Supreme Court gets rid of gay marriage, the next thing they're going to take away is interracial marriage. First it's gay marriage, then it's interracial. But I think I'm going to call it here. I need a fucking break. I need a break. Oh, speaking of breaks, guys, I need a break from this. So I'm actually taking a vacation in a couple of weeks. I'm only going to be gone for like 6 days. But after July 4th, I think on like July 8th, I'm going to be out of here. Just for like 6 days. I'm going on a camping trip. I'm going to the woods. No service. Just me and Mother Nature. Just me and the gods. There's a second sun outside. What's happening? You know what's happening. But yeah, July 8th, I am going to the woods for a while. I'll be back in like 6 days. But what I will be doing is having some scheduled posts ready to go. Avi's got managerial control over the account. He'll be posting. I'm going to get service once a day. I'm going to have service for about an hour, and I'm going to try to film something on the phone with one of these little fuckers. And I'm going to, what's up, motherfuckers? But, you know, I really do need a disconnect for a little bit. I am going insane. I'm going insane. Okay. So I'm going to take a break from the live stream, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. I'm out of here. Thank you very much. Oh, Kenna, I'm way fucking ahead of you. Way fucking ahead of you. Who the fuck is calling me? All right, I'm out of here.